welcome to another video of Alpha PTE. This is Fatima from Alpha PTE. Hope you all are doing well and hope your preparation is going on well. So today's video is a very quick and very important video, as you all already know that we take regular exams like on a regular basis, and I had my PT exam today, so I wanted to come and discuss about my experience for this particular exam. So let's do that. Okay, so today's exam was in Melbourne, Australia, in Docklands. There's a place in Docklands. I tried this test center for the first time. I've heard a lot about this test center. A lot of students had mentioned that this test center had less students, and yeah, I found it to be very comforting actually. And along with me there were only seven other students, so in total we were like, yeah, in total we were seven students. Okay, in the entire exam hall they had just one testing room, so it was not busy. But one thing that I noticed there, because it was just a very small test center and only one testing room where test was happening, they waited for the entire time. Say, for example, if your exam is at 10 o'clock in the morning, before this, whenever I used to give exams in like big test centers with multiple rooms, I used to go like early, like 9:30 and stuff, and they started my exam early. But because this said test center had only one room, they started on time because they were waiting for all the students to come and get settled. So one student was late, and they did mention that, if this particular student doesn't come by this time, by the time they start the exam, then he will have an issue. So if you are planning to give this exam, I want to let you know that make sure you be there on time, because every test center has a different policy. Some of them will allow you to, have some time, and some of you will not allow you when you are late. So always keep this in mind. All right. Moving on, the next thing that I wanted to discuss is now the entire exam. Now, before the exam starts, there was one thing that, yeah, there was this student who was late and he was about to miss the entire exam. That was one thing that I thought, oh my God, I need to tell my students about this, because every test center has different policies. So don't take the risk. Second thing, I had a very smart student who was giving exam next to me, and she was not still convinced about her headset and her volume. So we all started the exam, all of us, all the six students, and she still didn't start. She said, I am not convinced about my headset and I am not convinced about this computer. So please, I don't want to do my exam on this. And then they didn't have any other choice. They changed her entire system and they made her sit in a different uh, system. So they had extra space systems in the room, luckily. So they changed her entire system, and that's when I thought, even after telling her that no, we think it's fine, it's absolutely fine, if you go and you are not having that gut feeling and you feel that, it's not right, don't do it. That's your right. If you're not comfortable, if you're thinking that your voice is not being recorded properly, this it's not clear, there's background noise or stuff like that, don't. Just stay on your ground, stand your ground, and tell them, see, I'm not comfortable, I'm not convinced, I don't want to give my exam on this computer, can you please change it? All right. So that was one more thing that I wanted to, talk about, because that student did it and I was so happy for her. I was like, yeah, good job. Because, we are just going and taking exams to experiment, to see how the questions are coming, but students have, they really work hard to save every penny, and then, it's not a cheap exam, it's an expensive exam. So if you are paying for such an expensive exam, it's your right to give it in a very secure and comfortable manner. So do, if you think it's not working as it should, then stand your ground. All right, but respectfully, without making a scene. She was very respectful. She just kept saying that, I no, I don't think uh, this microphone is coming properly and stuff like that. So she was very sweet, very respectful, and they helped her out eventually. But if you are not being respectful, if you make a scene, if you create a fuss, they will report you. So it can go against you also. So always be very respectful when you're dealing with these authorities. Then moving on to the actual exam. Now my exam had was for about 1.5 hour, and as you know, I didn't have any break. It started with speaking, and I had 7 read alouds. All of them were pretty simple. No the difficult words. One or two difficult words were there in and this time what I did is I skipped a few words in my read alouds. The difficult words, this was my experiment. This time I'm still waiting for the results. I skipped a few difficult words, and I repeated a few words, and I shuffled a few words. So I have to wait for the result. Now this video is like immediately after my exam. I just came back from my exam, so I thought, before I forget everything, I need to make a video about it. All right, so that I experimented in my read aloud. So let's see how it goes. Repeat sentences were so good. I just had one long repeat sentence that was at the end, and like I always say, I just said 60 to 70% in the long repeat sentences. Short and medium repeat sentences, I did all of them clearly, but the long repeat sentence, I only said the first half and I clicked next. Okay, and I just had one long repeat sentence. Then I had one retail lecture. It was a video. It was about the words an average human being has. They said an average human being has approximately 60,000 words in their vocabulary, but that's not very accurate. If it's not bang on or spot on, the accurate count can vary up to 80,000 and more. And if you are somebody who is multilingual, who is fluent in more than one language, then you can have a vocabulary of up to 200,000 to 300,000 words. And that's how important it is. And that's how much impact it is when you have multiple languages, so on and so forth. So it was very clear and very easy. If you have good notes, you can absolutely do it. As you know, read a lecture, you don't take single words anymore. You take phrases and you put it in not a fixed template, but in a very systematic order and go about it. Okay. So if you practice well, you should be able to do it. Answer short questions. I just had 5. They were very simple. I don't remember, but yeah, they were very easy, very simple. One of them I didn't know, and I said, I don't know, and I moved on. All right. Then in writing summarized written text, it was about prior knowledge and how prior knowledge is important to learn new things, and how teachers help you unlock your prior knowledge before you start your course, and then you can use your prior knowledge into the new learning experience and create something better for yourself and stuff like that. So again, I did the same thing. I added 3 sentences, and let's see how it goes. I added the first 2 sentences with comma and the last sentence with semicolon and moreover. So, and I started with an independent sentence, and the continuation made sense. So let's see. Essay, I don't know. I get this essay so many times. It was mass media. How mass media, like television, news, radio, and newspapers, are, how it is changing people's opinion, especially the younger generation and stuff like that. So we do have that essay on alphabedia.com. So I had this a lot of times. Again, this time also it was there, and I used the same structure. I wrote 293 words in my essay. I remember that word count, 293 words. And I put a good amount of content. Out of 293, I think I put at least 100 to 120 words as content of the topic. The rest, about 100, words, I put as the structure. But yeah, at least I'm saying at least 100 to 150 words were from the content. So I'm pretty confident about the essay. Moving on to reading module, I had 5 reading and writing fill in the blanks. This time, surprisingly, they were very simple. One was about grandparents and how grandparents are playing an important role in their grandchildren's life, and how they're being caregivers, supporters, and stuff like that. Not only emotionally but also financially. Very simple blanks. Then there was computer programming, and there was another blank on, I think I knew one or two which were already there. It was about a course, it was about then one was, I think, about gases. Oh yes. uh these like helium gas, I've seen that it's there on the website. If I find it, I'll search for it. It was about those gases, helium and xenon, and all those, how they are fit in the periodic table and how they've made the entire periodic table and stuff like that. So that was there. So basically I had 6 to 7 reading and writing fill in the blanks. Then I had one MCQ multiple answer. I just selected the longest and the shortest sentence. And then I had 4 reorder paragraphs. Can you believe me? I had 4 reorder paragraphs. One was about the experiment, for where they wanted to experiment and see how many words you can put in people's mind. And then there were 2 other, but they were very very simple. They all had proper connectors. Then the next one, I had just 4 reading fill in the blanks, not many, very simple, very straightforward. And then once MCQ single answer. That was my reading module. Coming to my listening module, I had one summarized spoken text, and the topic was uh, how people react to information on loss more than information on gains. They had the experiment conducted where a cashier, or a customer service officer in a bank, he found that there are so many people who had credit cards but they never used it. And he wanted to experiment on this, and he sent a letter to half of them. He sent showing the gains, the advantages of using a credit card, and to the other half he showed the disadvantages of not using credit cards. So people who found that by not using credit cards they're losing something, they started using the credit card. So in that experiment they proved that threatening or loss has more reaction to gains or advantages. So that was my summarized spoken text. Then in MCQ, I had 2 MCQ multiple answers, very easy. I had 3 listing fill in the blanks, they were also easy. Then one is select missing word, 4 highlight incorrect words. One highlight incorrect word was a little quick, and there were the incorrect words were very close to each other. So I always find at least one highlight incorrect word challenging or quick. So make sure you pay at most attention to that one. And then I had 3 right from dictations. I remember one right from dictation where they said medical books and journals have been moved to the second floor. Okay. So, all right. That was how my exam went. I finished my exam in about 1 hour and 10 minutes because I very quickly skimmed, and I have tested this, added 2 extra words in my right from dictation, 1 extra word in one right from dictation, and 2 extra words in another right from dictation. That was one experiment, and the other experiment was read alouds that I did. So I'm still waiting for my result. I actually had just given the exam, so let's see how it goes. But I really wanted to share my experience for this particular exam, and as soon as I get the result I will talk about it this in detail. So until next time, take care. If you like our videos, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.